Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we are talking the most popular, talked about, and hyped skincare brands of 2021. This is courtesy of a thread which I actually saw on Reddit where they released the most mentions by skincare brand. I'm going to leave a link to that thread below if you do want to check it out in more detail. And I took a look through the most talked about skincare brands and I kind of thought, hang about, I don't use a whole lot of these brands in my day-to-day skincare routine. Does that mean that they're just not worthy of the hype, or could it be that we're missing out on some amazing products and brands? I'm going to pick it apart in this video and we're going to rank them one by one. So sit back, relax, and let's talk the most popular skincare of 2021. Now, before we get into this, I want to issue the usual caveat. This is just my thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Of course, we live in a free world where everyone can disagree with what I have to say. And this is where the comment section really comes in. So if you totally disagree with what my thoughts and feelings are on the brands I'm going to mention, sound off in the comments below. And if you agree with me and think, yes, a lot of these might be a little bit overhyped and overrated, again, share your thoughts and feelings below. While you're down there, don't forget to do the usual YouTubey stuff. To subscribe to join our skincare family if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button too, because it really supports me and the channel, and honestly, I would love you forever. But shall we cut the waffle and shall we just delve straight on in with, by far and away, literally streets ahead of any of the other brands in terms of mentions, comes CeraVe. CeraVe, depends where in the world you are as to how you pronounce it. Honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit disappointed that we're starting with this brand, if I'm totally honest, but I'm not surprised because honestly, I think 2021, in fact 2020 and 2021 have been the years of CeraVe. I know that they were sold out just about everywhere globally, really popular, really hard to get your hands on these products from the brand, and I know so many influencers hyped them and said how amazing their products were. In truth, I've not had a great experience with any of their products or with the brand itself, so this is why it never features in my skincare routine. I shared my thoughts and feelings on CeraVe and why it's just not a brand I choose to purchase from in a recent video, which I'll link up there. Definitely worth checking out. You know, they're not cruelty free. I don't think the formulations are all that good. Certainly not worthy of the hype that they get. But, and this is a huge but, I always say, if CeraVe works for you, keep using it. I'm a huge advocate for if you find a product that works for your skin and delivers the results that you want on a budget that you can afford, keep on buying it and keep on using it. Forget what I say or what anyone else online might say. You've got to listen to your own skin and what works for you. I know that since the reformulation, CeraVe took out a lot of the ingredients in their skincare routine, mixed them around and changed it all around. I found a lot of people have been saying the products are no longer as effective as they used to be. Some people have found them a little bit tingling, burning, stinging and drying, where that used to not be the case. I think this is a lot to do with how they've mixed around the preservatives that you used, removed parabens and added in some other preservatives, which, you know what, different ingredients work differently for different people. They've also increased the rate of niacinamide in a lot of their products, which can be a little bit problematic if you're sensitive to niacinamide. So kind of bear that all in mind. It's not for me. I'm going to rate, you know, the CeraVe brand as a whole like 3 out of 10. I love the price point. Can't fault the price point, but I just find, you know, the ethics behind the brand and the formulations themselves are a little bit overhyped, but sound off below if you disagree. Now, in at number 2 is another brand I'm pretty much not surprised to see on this list, and that's The Ordinary. Now, The Ordinary has been around for 5 years. I think they recently celebrated their 5-year anniversary, and people are still going mad for this brand. The price point, you can't fault. I think some of the formulations are really good. They literally took the skincare world, shook it up, and changed it forever, and I think as consumers, we've got to be really grateful for them doing that. I don't use The Ordinary anyway near as much as I used to if I look back to my routine sort of 2 years ago. I maybe have like 2 or 3 products that I use regularly in my routine, but that's just because I've moved on to different formulations. I think other brands have caught up. Where The Ordinary led, other brands have caught up, and now there's some better formulations out there, still keeping with a really nice price point. There are a couple of holy grails I don't think I'll ever be without, and you guys know I love this. This is The Ordinary Lactic Acid 10%. Honestly, like, everything about this is amazing, and it's my go-to exfoliator that I credit with giving my skin so much more luminosity than it used to have. Definitely a holy grail, and I kind of shared my reasons why lactic acid is everything for me at the moment in a recent video, so I'll leave a link up there if you want to check that out. But other than the lactic acid, I do still like their squalane cleanser, which I use from time to time. I think they've got some really nice single active formulations, but I just feel that the hype is probably going to die down a little bit in the next couple of years as we start to look to multi-active formulations to kind of streamline our routine, keep everything simplistic, and I really think The Ordinary do need to launch a few new products to keep people interested in the brand, but absolutely still a really good skincare brand, and I'm going to rate them 7 out of 10. You know what? Great price point, really great single active ingredients. They're not for everyone, and I would like to see a little bit of new product to keep our interest alive, but 7 out of 10 because honestly, they're still a really good skincare brand. Now, in at number 3, Neutrogena. I'm really surprised that people are hyping Neutrogena as much as they do. I actually don't mind their products. You know, I don't use them day in, day out because they're not an entirely cruelty-free skincare brand. But if I park that, if I put that to one side just for this, because that isn't a core concern for everybody, if I put that to one side, I still don't think their products are worthy of this much hype and mention. I do love their Hydro Boost range. I think the cleanser and the moisturizer is great for acne-prone skin with a little bit of dryness. If, like me, you have dry acne-prone skin, that could be a real lifesaver for you. I don't reach for them because I think there's other cruelty-free options out there, but they are a good brand and the price point is fine. The reason I'm a little bit surprised they're so high up on this list in terms of popularity and the amount that they're talked about is their products aren't that well received. You hear people say they're really good, but you don't hear people like saying, oh my god, you have to try this product, this is game changing, it's amazing, which is where the hype usually starts. For me, it's a fine skincare line, particularly if you want to, access things at the drugstore. They're available literally everywhere. Their formulations, unlike some other really big brands, don't change from territory to territory that much. So if you're buying a Neutrogena product here in the UK, you fly off to the States and you buy the same product there, you're getting pretty much the same formulation. That's not universally true for the brand, but generally speaking, and this is quite unique because most brands actually mix it up, their ingredients from territory to territory, which can be a bit confusing for us, the consumer. I like Neutrogena. I'm just not sure why they're getting talked about as much as they are. Maybe it's that accessibility point and that gorgeous price point. So sound off below if you have any favourites from Neutrogena. Now, in at number 4 is Stridex. I think this is an American brand. So I've never used a Stridex product, and that's because I just don't think they're available here in the UK. I had a quick look online, because I know you guys have talked about them. I think they're famous for their pads. And if I think back to Stridex pads, I think they're like the Clearasil pads we used to have here in the UK. As a very heavily blemished teen, I reached for those Clearasil pads day in, day out. Looking back, they stripped, they dried, they probably made my acne worse and were just a complete and utter nightmare, and yet I still use them every single day and scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed. I think the Stridex pads are the same as that. I want to do a little bit more investigation into Stridex as a brand because obviously I don't know a whole lot about them. So any recommendations you guys have? I like the look of their price point. That seems quite reasonable. I don't think from reading the ingredients list, which doesn't tell you everything but gives you a guide, I don't think the brand actually seems to have the same harsh formulations that Clearasil used to. So maybe that's my own prejudice from my experience with that brand, maybe leading into Stridex. I definitely think looking at them, they're a brand that is going to suit certain skin types more than the others. So I don't think it's that universal brand that everyone could reach for. But I am intrigued. Are you interested in a Stridex review? Do you want me to explore the brand more and go into importing some products so I can actually try? Sound off below and obviously share your recommendations because I'd be really intrigued to know. I can't say much more about this because honestly, there's not a whole lot I know. I'm glad that they're getting hype. If people are liking them, that's fantastic. And the price point seems fair. Beyond that, no comments. Let's see if that changes in the coming months. Now, in at number 5 is this little friend, Differin. Now, I am delighted to see that this is on the list because Differin, which is a high strength, usually prescription strength retinoid, is now available over the counter for acne treatment in the US. This is fantastic and why I think it's so high up on this list in terms of popularity, mentions, and people talking about the product. I honestly think this has changed the acne world, like forever, hopefully. And I really hope that other, territories and regulators look at the US example and make this available over the counter wherever. Here in the UK, it's still prescription only, and that's such a shame because of all the products I've tried for my acne, Differin hands down has been the most effective. Here in the UK, we tend to just go down the route of either you use over-the-counter harsh and stripping acne products, or you go to your GP and you're either on antibiotics or, really high strength like Accutane. This doesn't always suit everyone, and there doesn't seem to be a middle ground. I think Differin can be that gap, bridge that gap, and can be a really great option for people, particularly in their teens and 20s, that are suffering from acne and don't really know where to turn. You've got a really effective medical grade over-the-counter option which will just deliver you some really great results. Now, Differin doesn't come without side effects, which is why I think some territories are reluctant to make it over the counter. It can be very drying, it can be very sensitizing, but if you use it correctly, you can get a really great result. I shared my experience with Differin. I like a how-to guide of how to apply it if you're still a little bit unsure in a video I did quite a while back, but I'll link it up there because if you're still a fan of Differin but you kind of want to make sure that you're using it correctly, check out that video because kind of all the hints, tips and hacks you need to know. I love Differin. They don't have a whole lot of products in their range as a brand, but I honestly think their adapalene gel, game changing for acne, and the more this is talked about, the better in my opinion. So I'm giving this brand like a 10 out of 10. Ding ding ding. holy grail, because for me, it would have transformed my acne experience in my teens. Now, coming in at number 6, we have Cosrx. Now, I love Cosrx as a brand, and I was surprised there weren't more Korean brands in this list. The reason for that, I think, is because, the amount of people purchasing Korean brands has slowed down a little bit, particularly in the North American market. I covered this in a video, which I'll leave a link to, but beyond just that, I think the hype around Korean skincare has kind of stabilized a little bit. We're all using their products day in, day out, which is fantastic. And of course, there's so many brands out of Korea. When we talk Korean skincare, I think it's that catch-all term, which actually misses the point that there's so much variety in terms of brands, products, and what's on offer beneath. So I would definitely recommend you check out Cosrx, which I think is one of the best Korean skincare brands out there. Not all of their products are standout. They have their ding, ding, ding holy grails alongside their wah, wah, wah total fails. But I know so many of you like their snail mucin-based products, which is a fantastic humectant and can help even out the skin tone. You guys rave about it so much. I know a lot of people really reach for their new Seeker products, which are really gentle, calming, and restorative. And I'd say if you're looking to Cosrx, it's great for people that have more sensitivity in their skin, because in keeping with the Korean skincare ethos, gentle, low percentage actives used over a longer period of time to deliver those results. And to be honest, I'm all about that. I was quite late to the Cosrx bandwagon. This was hyped and talked about way before I actually started to use their products, and it was because of you guys singing their praises that I did. And honestly, I haven't looked back. There's some really, really great options there. But like I say, as with a lot of Korean brands, there's a lot of product that they have to offer. So really delve into them and work out which is going to work for you and what you're looking to target in your routine, so you don't spend a load of money on products that might not be suitable for you. Cosrx, I'm happier on this list. I'd like to see some more Korean brands on here, and I think, Purito and some Dear Claire's might start to appear on this list in, say, the next year. But honestly, Cosrx leading the charge for the Korean skincare brands. I'm totally thrilled about that. I'm going to rate them like a good 8 out of 10. Great price point. Some of their products are instant holy grails. Some of them, okay, didn't work for me, but that's just personal choice. Definitely a fan of Cosrx. And finally, in the list of this top 7, we're coming on to Paula's Choice. Well, what can we say about Paula's Choice? I used to love Paula's Choice. I used to think their formulations were innovative, game-changing, market-leading. I liked their price point because I didn't mind paying a little bit more to get a little bit more, but this has just got ridiculous now. Their price point is so expensive. Every year it goes up and up and up, and it's to the point now where I look at the Paula's Choice products, even my holy grail favourites, some of them, and think, I actually can't reach for that anymore. That's not in my price point that I want to spend on my skincare. And I think that's such a shame because it's kind of frozen a lot of people out of the market. They've recently been taken over by a multinational corporation, which has left a lot of people feeling a bit cold because, again, the prices have continued to creep upwards. We've seen a whole host of new products launched without any real meaning behind them, just to fill the gap, flood the market, get some more sales in. And of course, there's questions over their cruelty-free status going forward now that they will be sold into mainland China. I'm just feeling totally cold towards this brand. And honestly, if you look at the trend, which Reddit very kindly shared, they were super talked about and hyped and popular around 12 months ago, and that has really tailed off now. I kind of think the buzz around Paula's Choice has gone. They still do some really good products, so I'm not here to roast them. I think they have some really good products. I just think that price point has become ridiculous, out of the reach of a lot of people, and there's a lot of questions over the direction now that they've been bought out. I actually covered all of this in more detail than I could do in this video in a separate video, which I'll link up there, and I definitely recommend you check that out if you're wondering about Paula's Choice and you want a little bit more in-depth review, because I go into it in that video way more than I could in this one. Overall, I'm going to give them a 5 out of 10. A really, really good brand in terms of the formulations and the products. That price point has got ridiculous. Some of the new brands are literally just there to get the extra coin. The new products aren't really delivering a whole lot of additional benefit, and I don't think they're as innovative or as well formulated as the original, the OG Paula's Choice products. Of course, you guys, I know some of you still are hardcore Paula's Choice fans, and I again reiterate, do what's right for your skin, and sound off in the comment section below to let me know what your thoughts and feelings are. So there we have it, the top 7 most hyped, talked about and mentioned brands over on Reddit. Now, this covers the past year, and of course Reddit is just one source, and there could be a whole lot of other data out there that contradicts this. But in terms of what I'm seeing, I'm not hugely surprised that these are the talked about brands. We know CeraVe is huge. Who doesn't love a little of The Ordinary? And you can't open a YouTube, home screen without seeing someone mention The Ordinary. I'm a little bit surprised to not see more Korean brands on there, but maybe that is just because the hype around Korean skincare has, leveled off just a little bit, even though I'm still a fan of so many of the brands from that territory. I would love to know your thoughts and feelings on anything mentioned, so sound off in the comment section below. And wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.